Hi, I'm Sarah and welcome back to my channel. My channel is Rosie Home and I share all things about motherhood, homemaking, lifestyle, fashion, travel. If you enjoy those things then please do subscribe to my channel. This is another video in my breastfeeding series. Today I'm going to share with you how I left my breastfed baby overnight. So if you need to leave your baby overnight for whatever reason, keep watching to find out how I did it. I have two girls, Rosalie who is 3 years old and Maeve. I breastfed both of them exclusively, Rosalie for 14 months and Maeve for 12 months. Maeve is 12 months now, so I'm still feeding her. I left Maeve overnight when she was 2 months old. She was exclusively breastfed, she'd never had a bottle before, and I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but these are the tips I followed to make sure that it went as smoothly as possible. It was absolutely fine. We had no problems when I came home, and we just slotted back into our normal feeding routine quite happily. So the first thing you need to do if you are planning to leave your baby overnight is work out how much milk you need. You will need to express some milk for your baby whilst you're away, and you need to know how much milk you need. When you're breastfeeding a baby, you never know exactly how much they are taking. You can buy breastfeeding bags and they hold about 5 or 6 ounces. So I took that in that would be a full feed. You never know how much a breastfed baby is taking, so that was what I used as a guide for how much milk she would need for one feed. As I said, you then need to work out how many feeds she's having a day. When Maeve was 2 months old, she was having 7 feeds a day. She would feed at 5 AM, 9 AM, 12 PM, 3 PM, 7 PM, 10 PM and 2 AM. She'd have a middle of the night feed. You need to express milk to have milk to feed her, but you don't want that to affect your own supply. You don't want to have any excess milk. In my opinion, if you use an electric pump, from my past experience, when I used one, it made my boobs think that I needed more milk. They just made more and I had too much milk. This time round, I didn't use an electric pump at all. All I used was a Hakkaa pump. Now this is an amazing pump, which I will talk more about in my how to express without it affecting your supply video. I will link that down below, but basically this pump goes onto your boob while you're feeding baby on one side, it collects the letdown coming from the other boob. And it's just a very natural way to collect expressed milk without causing problems to your own feeding schedule with your newborn baby. So once you've got your milk, you now need to feed it to your baby somehow, so you need a bottle. Now what I did was, Maeve had never taken a bottle before, so I had a selection of bottles. So what I did was made sure I had a number of bottles available to her so she could try a few. I did try and give her them before, but when I was there she just wouldn't take it. But when I wasn't there, so when I actually left her, she took it from a bottle fine. Because I wasn't there, she couldn't smell my milk. When I was there, she'd just get frustrated because she knew the boob was there and she'd want it. Whereas when someone else is feeding her, she was absolutely fine. She took a bottle with no problems because that was the only thing available to her. So what I did was made sure that I had a selection of bottles to try. This one was just from Poundland, so it's really cheap. These ones I borrowed from a friend. These Man ones, I think I was given as well. And I also had the Modella bottles. I haven't got the lid, but they do a breastfeeding tea, which is supposed to mimic breastfeeding, which I have as well. It's downstairs. But if you search for the Modella breastfeeding tea, you will see it. Of all these bottles, I was really surprised in the one that she liked. She liked this one, the little Man one. It's just a normal tea. There's nothing special about it. It wasn't the special breastfeeding one, but this was the one she preferred. So this was the one that my mum used. After I left her for that first time, I knew this was the bottle she liked, so I just used these ones. I didn't use any of the other ones. For that first time, I just had a few so that she could try. I think it is really random what teat your baby will prefer. So this is the one she got on with, which surprised me. So now I've got my bottles and my express milk. I made sure that I had 8 feeds. My baby used to have 7 feeds a day, so I made sure that I gave my mum, who was looking after her, 8 feeds. So I had 8 of these bags full of expressed milk, as well as 1 bottle of fresh breast milk, which I hadn't frozen. So breast milk will stay in the fridge for 5 days. You can store breast milk chilled in the fridge for 5 days. So that's what I did. I had 1 that was sort of like good to go. So I'd feed Maeve literally before I left her And then my mum had the bottle of chilled breast milk in the fridge that she could give her for her next feed. And then we got out a freezer bag to leave on the side to defrost for her sort of second feed. So she'd always have 2 feeds ahead. When I gave Maeve to my mum, she'd already just had 1 feed. She had the chilled milk ready to go for her next feed in the next 3 hours. And then she had the next feed, which would be in 6 hours, defrosting on the side. Then whenever my mum fed her, so when my mum fed her the chilled milk, she would get out another milk from the freezer to leave on the side to defrost for sort of 2 feeds ahead. I hope that you're understanding this. It is quite complicated, but this is what we did. So there was always milk available to her. Because you are guessing with the amounts, you don't know exactly how much your baby's taking when they breastfeed or how much they need each feed. You do have to kind of guess. That's why I wanted to always make sure that I had extra milk available to her if she needed it. The last thing you need to do is make sure that you express while you're away. Those times that we listed earlier of when your baby fed, that is when you need to express while you're away. So you need to go off from whatever you're doing, find a toilet or a nice room to do it in, and express as if you're feeding your baby. You are then going to have to tip this milk away, which is like gutting. I hated doing that. It's like the milk that you've created you then have to just throw away. It's very sad. I was travelling light and I didn't want to have to freeze it and take it home. You could do that if that's what you were going to do. I didn't bother. I just chucked it away. Pump and dump. Yeah. Got on with my evening once I'd done that. So it is a bit annoying that you have to have those breaks, but if you don't, you need to do that to ensure that when you come home to your baby, your supply is as it was. And the last thing is just not to worry about it. You will be surprised. Don't fret if your baby won't take a bottle before you leave them. Maeve never did, but obviously when I left her and I wasn't there, she did take it. That was the only food source available to her, so she just got on with it. When we came home, because I'd expressed while we were away, it wasn't quite right, because you can never express as much as what your baby takes. It's not as efficient. So it did take us a few days to get back into our normal routine, but it didn't disrupt the supply too much. My milk was fine. I was able to feed her straight, as if I'd never been away as soon as I got back, which was perfect and just what we needed. I hope you find this helpful if you're thinking of leaving your baby overnight. If you did, then please do like it. If you have any questions, then please do leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!